two quotes that I want to read. Let me read this one first. And it is one that I think is really, really important and incredibly relevant for today. And after I read it, I want to ask both of your thoughts on it. It is from near and dear Saint Jacob of Sarug, where he says, "O Son of God," talking about Mary, "by her prayers, make your peace to dwell in heaven, in the depths and among all the counsels of her sons. Make wars to cease and remove trials and plagues. Bestow calm and tranquility on seafarers. Heal the infirm, cure the sick, fill the hungry. Be a father to orphans whom death has left destitute. In your pity, drive out devils." And I've read that it can be translated demons as well, "who harass mankind, and exalt your church to the four quarters of the globe, that it may sing your praise." When I look at what St. Jacob says here, and he does it in more than one area, and multiple fathers do it, where they ask, when they're asking for the intercession of Mary, they ask for Mary to help drive out demons, drive back evil forces and devils. In your experience as being an exorcist, Father, has the intercession of St. Mary particularly helped in your ministry?
Absolutely, because the Blessed Mother is the greatest example of humility and obedience. If you think about it, in the book of Genesis, God had a plan for Adam and Eve, and the response that Eve gave in succumbing to the temptation of the serpent was to say no to God. And that no was reversed when the Archangel Gabriel, there at the beginning of Luke's Gospel, appears to Mary and, hail full of grace, and basically said, this is God's plan for you, to help bring Christ into the world, to be the mother of the Son of God. And how does she respond? Let it be done to me according to your word. So she says yes to God. And the reason why Mary is so effective in combating the devil and demons is because of obedience. Mm-hmm. And the devil leads us to be disobedient to God, but Mary teaches us the importance of being obedient to God. Because when we are obedient to God, that's freedom in the true sense of the word, because we're living in the manner that God calls us to live. When we start believing that freedom means we can do whatever we want, then we end up becoming slaves to our own passions and desires. And that's really the fall of the devil. He wanted to be in charge, to be disobedient to God, and that's the same pathway that he would want us to walk. But Mary sets the example of saying yes to God and teaching us the importance of obedience.
Subdeacon, your thoughts on that quote from St. Jacob, to me, it does make a whole lot of sense. The incredible intercession of Holy Mary. What are your thoughts on that?
So we pray it every Sunday, especially when there is someone whose family is present, who he has departed, in comfort of the family and also all of those present. We pray this every Sunday. So it's very powerful, and it's obvious, like the intercession of Mary and the saints. It's like, I don't know if it's like a dream team that we're asking to help us. Like, of course it's going to be powerful. So it's awesome that God gave us these tools in His church, that it's like He gives us everything that's necessary in order to help us in all of these things that we face. He doesn't leave us alone. In the word, you said it could be translated to demons. Yes, you're right. The word actually in Syriac that you will see a lot for the devil, or it's the same word that they transliterated in the gospel, Beelzebub. So and it means the enemies. Or actually, sorry, no, we use it to mean the enemies. Literally, it means the Lord of the Flies.
Yeah,
that's what it literally means. We use it to mean our enemies or demons, and it could be meaning a lot of things. Like literally, you're in a war against the enemy, you will use that word. But it means Lord of the Flies. Baal means Lord. The Baba means fly or flies. So, and still till today in colloquial Syriac, when they're talking about flies, they use that word, didwa. So, it's an interesting word to use about them, I'm not sure why. I'm not sure the correlation. Baal, Baal, flies. I don't know the connection that has with the devil, but it happened. So that's the word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would comment on that because, where do you see flies? Around the dead. And it
Mm,
was the temptation of Satan that brought death into the world. He says to Eve, surely you will not die, you will become like God. But then he shows his true character. The devil is called a liar from the very beginning, the father of all lies, because his lie is what brought death into the world. So
Yeah.
the reference to the devil, Satan, as Beelzebub, the Lord of the Flies, is because he's Lord of Death.
that makes sense. Okay.
It does. It really does, and that it really does put into perspective the darkness that perhaps and you would know best, Father. I imagine there's a certain kind of darkness that envelops these people that are suffering from this.